So now it's recording, and at the end, once you end the meeting, you will need to convert the file, and it will take several minutes. I mean, depending on the size of the video. So, for example, for your defense, it was about an hour, so it took me probably 10-15 minutes to do that conversion. But it's going to be safe on your equipment, on your computer.
Okay. We'll need to do that here because I'm tethered to the outlet.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Okay, so starting over again, the first step for installing the portal is that you're going to want to either have the computer already running Ubuntu Linux. You can run either 16.04 or 18.04, and you can just go to ubuntu.com and download the latest version, 18.04 for example. So you can either run that natively on your computer or with a virtual machine. I'm using VMware Workstation Player. You can probably use any virtual machine such as VirtualBox. So to get the Workstation Player, you just go to this URL here, and then it should be free. So you might just have to, at least for the basic version, well, you might have to play around with the website, but it does say down here that it's still free. I just don't know the exact place to download that. So after you download the Workstation Player, install it, and then follow the steps to install Ubuntu on your player. And then after you get that done, you will have a system like this. So this is my system running This is my VMware player running Ubuntu 16.04. So after you do that, then you're ready. You should be ready to install the portal. So you go to this website here on Bitbucket, and then you're going to want to start with number 1 under Docker setup, creating your working directory. So start here at any root directory that you want. I'd recommend your home directory. So just do this command within your home directory, and then you can go to step 2.
We show them how to run the commands on the terminal.
What was that?
To show you guys how to run the commands on terminal.
So right click, open in terminal, and this will open the terminal in your home directory, and then you can run the command. So you can probably just copy and paste the command into your virtual machine. I'm going to call that 2 since I already have one called UT Portal, and press enter, and your directory will be made. So mkdir means make directory. Then after that, you clone the repo, which will basically is just downloading all these files into that directory. Then you can go to step 3, create empty project directory.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. So step 2 was under Docker setup, not under Vagrant setup. So then after you do that, you do step 3, which will create the environment variable. Then after that, you do step 4. For step 4, I believe you only have to do either 1 or 2. You don't have to do 1 and 2. So I'd recommend using number 1, Docker Compose. You may have to install Docker Compose If it's not, I'm not too sure if it comes installed on Ubuntu already.
It has to be installed. It doesn't come pre-built with Docker and Docker Compose.
So just look up how to install Docker Compose on Ubuntu on Google. It's probably something. Do you know what the command would be?
It depends upon the Ubuntu version they're going to use. Maybe you can show them for like installing Docker and Docker Compose for Ubuntu 16.04. You can search for on Google and then they can see. It depends from version to version, whichever version they're downloading.
So here's an example of the result of a Google search. So basically, you'll need to run these commands just in the terminal. You can run this probably in your home directory, and then this should install Docker Compose, and then you'll be ready to do this step here.
Okay.
So then after that, and if you do this step again, we skip number 2 under step 4.
Mm-hmm.
And
Why
then
you selected Docker Compose? Is there any particular reason?
That's just the way we've been installing the portal. I don't think we've ever used this. Yes. I don't think we've ever used this command to install it. So we've had more experience with this one.
Okay.
So then after that, we can go to step 5, creating the Django project directory in the virtual environment. And again, you might have to install a virtual environment. So once again, you'll have to look that up.
The reason for using virtual environment is that the Docker is for entire portal. The portal might depend on say Python, and then it might depend on other Linux development files. But say the virtual environment that we use for Python, on a single computer you can run apps that runs on Python 2 and also on Python 3, and those two apps dependencies are separated. This one for ours it's 2, but if I think in 18.04 or something the Python 3 is used, but it's not in accordance with our portal requirement. Our portal runs on Python 2. That's where we are installing virtual environment.
So for example, this is a instruction site on how to install virtual environment. So it begins with the usual sudo apt-get or apt-update that you'd use for Ubuntu, and then you'll be using the pip package manager for Python, and then follow the rest of the instructions, and then you should have virtual environment installed. So after that, then you should be ready to run step 5 here. And then that will create the project directory and set up the virtual environment. Then after that, you'll be entering the project setup stage. So for this, we'll just be doing steps 1, 2, and 3, ignoring these steps for Vagrant. So the first step here is to copy all the files with the word and to remove the word example from the name. So I think you can just copy and paste this into the terminal. You might have to, and for these steps, you're going to probably want to go to the UT portal folder and then into the project folder, open your terminal here, and then start with these commands. So copy and paste this into your terminal and run that. Then the second step is to update the local settings files accordingly. So run this command here. Then after that, you'll be doing the Docker setup part. So the first step in the Docker part is to set up the database. So run this command here. This will set up the MySQL database. Then the next step is to run the entire project. And then after that, you're going to run migrations and then run npm install. And this will install, npm is, I think, the package manager for JavaScript or Angular JavaScript. So this will install the dependencies for that. And then lastly, you run collect static, which will collect all the static files for Django, which is basically all of the image files and CSS files for the portal. But you only have to do that when you first install it. Then after you do all these steps here from 1 to 3, then the next thing you're going to do is go down here to accessing the portal locally and Docker. So you add a record in your local host file. So you're going to want to find where that file is in Ubuntu and then add this to that file. You might need administrator privileges to modify it.
Could you elaborate on that one?
Yeah, she's asking about the location, specific location of hosts the file.
See, I'm not too sure where that one is. Let's see. So I believe it's in /etc/hosts. So I think this might work. Right. So to edit that, you can do sudo gedit /etc/hosts. You'll enter your password that you set up for root when you set up Ubuntu. And then one thing to note with Ubuntu is that when you type the password, it's not going to show the cursor moving. So it can be a little confusing at first, but know that the characters are being typed, you just can't see them. So you add the localhost part right here. And then you save it by doing just Control S. As long as you opened it with sudo, you'll be able to save it. I think if you don't open it with sudo, you won't be able to save it.
The file opens in read-only mode. You cannot make any changes to it.
But with sudo, you can make the changes. You just have to enter your password. And then after you save it, you can close that. And then all you have to do is then open Firefox and type this in. And that should get everything up and running. Except with the major caveat, that is the certificates. So let's see. First, let me get into my email. My email has what Josue was telling us. So to get to the page with the certificates, you're going to want to go to this URL here. After you do that, the first step is to start from creating local CA and signed cert. So go to the website, and then you're going to start here in this section. So you're going to run through all of these steps. Let's see, for these steps, I'm not too sure where you should open up your terminal. Let's see.
I think it's not dependent on project. I think you can just type it over.
Let's see. Yeah, so I think you can open your terminal anywhere then, from any directory, and run these steps. And this will get all the keys and certificates. One thing is that I think we are changing DesignSafe to just portal. So portal.dev.key. So anywhere you see DesignSafe, change it to portal. I think so. For example, here we have portal.dev, portal.pem. And then one thing to note is that there are a few typos. So if you come up with an error, there might be a typo somewhere. Just look that up. Try to look up whatever's in the error. So I'm not too sure where the typos are. It's been a while since we've done that, and I'm not too sure if they've updated it. So that might be a problem you might run into. But otherwise, do all 7 steps here, and that will give you all the certificates. And then after that, then you go into installing local CA. So we go back to the website. Let's see. So installing local CA will be here. So I believe, so since we're using Ubuntu, go into the Linux subfield here, and then run these 4 steps. So after you run these 4 steps, so we've been using Firefox for all of this. So I'd recommend just sticking with Firefox to run the portal, since the steps are already outlined here. So with Firefox, you will run all 7 of these steps here, and then that should add the certificates to Firefox's trusted certificates.
I think the same should be applicable for Chrome as well, because they are giving you the GUI steps. Like the same thing should be there for Chrome as well.
Right.
These certificates.
Right. It will be very similar for Chrome. The specifics, I think, might be a little different.
But otherwise it's going to be the same, including the certificates.
Mm-hmm. So basically, to recap, this is to create and sign the certificates. Up here is to add the certificates to the portal project, and then update some of the portal files with the certificates. And then this set of steps is to get Firefox, or alternatively Chromium, to recognize their certificates as trusted.
So you will run the Linux steps on the home directory?
So with the Linux steps here on the first step here is to change the directory. So that will go into the project conf certs. Oh, Nginx. So that would just go into this directory, but you run this command from, say, the home directory or any directory, and it will take you to this directory. And then you just execute the other commands within that same directory. So this is probably the most complicated part. But after you do that, then you should be able to actually run the portal itself. Now, to get the portal set up with Agave, we'll have to do some extra steps, which is to install the Agave command line interface. So in order to do this, go to this URL here. This will be the Bitbucket site for the CLI. So you're going to want to install these dependencies, probably using apt-get, or if that doesn't work, again, just type it into Google on how to install that for Ubuntu.
I think those three things are already satisfied. Ubuntu comes with Bash and Python. By default, maybe curl, we have to check it out, but I think right now the latest edition of Ubuntu comes with all the three instructions. The four dependencies.
Right. So yeah, these might be already installed. So what you can do then is just go to these two steps here, and if you get a dependency error that's listing one of these dependencies, then look that up on Google how to install that. But otherwise, you can probably skip down to here, do git clone, and this will download all the files. And you should do this in your home directory. And then do the export path command again in the home directory. Then after that, you'll need to go to configuring your environment. So I believe you should run just this here without the 1. This will show a list of tenants, and then type in the number that corresponds to TAC. So then after that, you're going to want to do this here. Before you run this though, we need to set these environment variables. So Agave username and Agave password. Now this is a little complicated because you'll have to have a username and password for TAC. So if you don't have that, then don't even really worry about the CLI for now. But once you have an account on TAC, and I guess everyone's accounts would be added to the to our allocations.
So I'm not sure about that. Are you using the username and password your 3 letters, 3 numbers, or that's different? Because remember, we can access the TAC portal just through that link for the UT system. But in this case, do you have a special username and password on TAC?
Yes.
So whenever a job is submitted, from the app, that username and their token will be used, and those jobs will be run on the person's specific allocation.
Okay.
So that's why these steps are being done, because the portal is locally installed, and every time they run the apps, the jobs are submitted on their name.
So remind me, did I request an allocation at some point for you? What was the process?
I think you requested the allocation, and you added me as a student.
I know. Okay.
I think you did the same thing for me as well. We added me to the allocation.
Okay. So I need to add everybody.
Alternatively, we could have a global T-Seria account, but that's up to you. I don't know if there.
I don't know if I have a maximum number, but I do remember now the process, and it was rather easy. So let me try to add everybody. If not, we just do 1 to 7. And we're going to share the same allocation. So we already have an allocation. And I'm not requesting extra allocations. I'm just adding members to the same allocation.
Yes.
That should be easy. I do have 2 allocations. Do you remember the name of the project? I think it was
Bioenergy optimization, but without the N. Is you. I think you left off the end.
Yeah.
Okay. So once you know your TAC username and password, then you're going to want to set your environment variables. So you can do that by opening a terminal anywhere and doing export and then the variable. So Agave username equals, let's see. I can't remember if you put the string thing there, but so for example, you might do this. That's my username for TAC. Alternatively, it might be without the quotes. I can't remember. Like that. So try both and see. You can do echo. Let's see. Test. I can do that and then do echo $sign test bar, and then it'll come back. So probably without quotes. So do export Agave username like that equals your username. Then export Agave password equals your TAC password. Then after you do that step, then you can go here to getting your API keys. So you will want to go, at that point, you're going to want to go into your Agave CLI folder. This was created when you did this step up here. So you go into that folder, go to bin, then open a terminal here, and then just copy and paste this command into there. And then after that, I think you should just be able to copy and paste this command into that same terminal, and then copy and paste this command. And
all of these from root, right? All of them are inside the Agave API folder that we have downloaded using the previous JIT job.
So, for example, these will be in your root or home directory.
Yeah.
And then, let's see, actually this one too. Yes. All of these will be in your Agave CLI bin directory. So you go to the Agave CLI directory that was created, and then into bin, and then open the terminal here, and then execute all these commands.
I'm seeing the hashtag and automatically I think about root.
Oh no, that's like either you can use sudo and give a administrative privilege for each command, or you type sudo su for the entirety of the session till you close the terminal. It will give you the unlimited administrative privilege. That's why you have an hash symbol in front of the after bash 4.1.
So basically, you have to type whenever you see the hashtag, you have to type the sudo and then the command.
Yeah, I guess yes.
Okay.
Or you can have like maybe you can show them how it is done. Maybe sudo su if you type the pound sign, the dollar sign changes to pound sign.
Yeah.
Well, you don't need sudo for
you don't need sudo for those. Okay.
But here's an example of this first command here. So we're executing that in this directory. So here's an example of the list of tenants. So you're going to want to enter number 9 here, and that will give you the TAC tenant. So then after you do all of this, we have some specific steps in the portal that will need to be done in order to actually integrate that with our tax systems. And those are a bit specific, so I can document those later. But now that we have all the basics set up, I can show how to run it. So to run the portal, you go to your ut-portal folder that was created when you installed the portal. Go to the project folder, then open a terminal here. And then to run it, you run this command here. And this is the same command that we had, let's see. Here. So this is the same command as this, but you don't need to run all of this, just this command when actually running the portal. You're going to do that, enter your password, and then it will start all the services for the portal. And this will take about a minute for it to get everything running.
Do you still have the Elasticsearch in this one?
Oh, yeah.
It needs a lot of memory, 2 GB of memory.
So, oh yeah, this one's just the basic one that we're using for the case study, not the modified one. Did you modify yours?
Yeah, I did modify it, but it fires up pretty quickly.
So I noticed that when you put in the code, on the website it didn't say sudo. So what's like the rule to use sudo or not to use sudo?
Oh, here. Yeah, that is.
Or should I use sudo like
No, whenever
Does
you
it-
run a command, the Ubuntu terminal is going to prompt you, okay, this requires system privilege. Add sudo before the command. Like if
I
the command requires administrative privilege, if it doesn't, it would like directly fire up the command for you.
I see.
Yeah, there's a weird discrepancy where in their tutorial that you don't need sudo for Docker Compose, but when we were trying to install it in the first place, for some reason it popped up that message that we needed sudo for that. So I think at this point, I think we're ready to get into the portal. So run Firefox. So from the Firefox page, you enter portal.dev. And then that will take you to the home page of the portal. Now, I think that the version that Kevin has been working on is prettier than this. This was the bare bones version that we have to ensure that the case study will work.
Right, nothing is going to change, right, in terms of accessing the portal.
No, nothing. Like only the visuals and the other this one. Whatever the backend services that is already in place, those are not changed.
So from this website, this is actually what you'll see when you go to portal.dev. So you're going to want to log in here on the right hand side.
Same login credentials?
Yes. So you click on TAC here, and you log in with your TAC username and TAC password. So then click sign in after you've entered those.
So you don't like to. This is the same as you typed in before. You don't need to do an extra step if you don't have that.
Correct. You just need a TAC account. But once you have that, you just enter your credentials for that. And then after that, you'll be logged in. So if you have There are a few extra steps that we have to do, though, in order to point the portal to the storage and execution systems for TAC. And again, I'll document that soon. But once you do that, then you can go here, for example, to Data Depot. And it does take about 15-20 seconds to load the pages. I think we're having some technical difficulties. It should be showing all the files and directories here. It was just a few days ago when I was running the case study, so I don't know why it's not doing that.
Are you getting an email from TAC saying that there is a maintenance or something?
There might be.
No.
There might be maintenance on Corral. Let's go to the workspace. So in order to see all this, you're going to have to do a bunch of extra steps to get all of these apps registered with Agavi. But once they're registered, then you can click on the app. And then it will display the form. And you just follow the directions for each input or parameter. So for example, for this one, I typed up a short explanation of each app. I think a while,
pieces, yeah.
but also separately a while back, maybe 2 months ago. I think that I emailed you.
Yeah. No, I think we're comfortable on this side on how to operate and the meaning of each of the apps. Can we go over how to register these apps in Agavi?
Or I have a suggestion. Instead of using that Bitbucket, maybe we can have whatever Mario is using, maybe we can upload it and then there won't be any necessity for registering for the apps. Maybe they can directly start using the apps. What would you say about that? That should work, right? Because it is already registered from your version, and then people start using your version with the whatever necessary steps to install it. Then they don't have to go through all these steps, so that at the same time for everyone.
You see, I'm not sure if. See, when you install the Agavi CLI and the tenant and all that, it doesn't. I don't think it carries over. It will carry over any of the app registrations or anything like that. I think that's something each person would have to manually do. But what we can do is upload the current version of the portal. Once we combine my version, your version, we can upload that and then download that, and that will save a lot of configuration still. But I think the Agavi side we will still have to do. So also, as a note, right now I'm pretty sure Corral is under maintenance. This is usually what it shows.
Okay, but once we have the portal, we don't have to do all these steps. Everything is going to be accessible through the web, all these apps. Is that
Yes, once we have it on the server, then we just install the apps once. Kevin and I can take care of that. That will persist.
Okay. But that's more for external collaborators. For us, we have to do it the hard way. We have to learn how to do it the hard way.
Right. Let's see. So to install an app on Agave, let's see. What is that? So first you want to go to your Agave CLI folder, then go to bin, then open a terminal here. Then you'll want to enter a command. Let's see, I believe it's apps add update. So I want to do, for example, apps-add update.
That was the alarm
Yeah, don't invoke.
right?
An important thing to note is that only when you're using the Agave CLI, not the portal, you will need to run this command, auth tokens refresh -s every 4 hours to get a new token. But
Is that the token you were talking about?
Yes, kind of similar to that one. So it stays for a longer time, and then you don't have to refer the token app. You could create a token that is valid for so many years.
And how we can download the app?
It's available on the Google Play Store or something.
And what's the name?
It is tag.
Tag token.
Yes, tag token. Yes. Say you want access for all through both terminal or Putty or WinSCP. WinSCP is a software that you can use to access remote file servers in a graphical user interface, but it will ask for the tag system will ask for your password as well as the token. It's like an RSA token that they use it in financial transaction companies. They give you a form that keeps updating the number so that no one can hack the system.
So at the moment I'm having a problem with that command, but normally that works. So enter auth-tokens command, and that will refresh your token for 4 hours. And then after that, to add an app, you go to apps-add update, and then I think there might be a -f that you have to put there. If not, ignore that if it gives an error. But you're going to want to go find your the location of the definition file for the app. Let's see, so I think that's here. So copy and paste the location from that. Paste. So do this command, and that will, this is what we call registering the app with Agave. So that will add the app to the list of Agave apps. In order to display it on the portal, you will also have to register the metadata for the app. So let's see, command for that. So one thing to note with Agave CLI is that the files are all named after the commands. So if you need help remembering what one of the commands are, just look at the files. So to register the metadata, you use metadata add update. So for example, I think this also has as a -f. Let's see. And then again, you put in the location of the metadata file. This one probably. So then enter this command. Then once you've done add update and metadata add update, when you refresh the workspace in the portal, the icon for the app will show up, and then you click on it, and the forum will show up.
Okay. So add update and then metadata for each of the apps.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's see. And then after that, follow the documentation that we will have for each app. So just also you can follow the directions here. The directions will make more sense coupled with the basic documentation of what each app does. But otherwise, for example, you can do multi-select, or just a single select for the drop-down boxes. And then other fields are text fields. And then some fields are file input fields. So I wish I could show that, but what you would do is you would click on your file that you want to have for the input, and then drag it into the field, and then that will pop up. For example, this, which is the location of the of that particular file within the file system. Under job details, you can do the maximum job runtime in this format. So for example, this is 7 hours. Enter a name for the job, and then the output archive location, which will be the location in the data depot that you'll find the output at.
What's the maximum number of hours that we can run apps in Trac?
So the maximum job runtime here is 48 hours. That's actually shown here. Maximum possible time is 48 hours.
And can you talk about the visualization app in particular? And give an update to everybody on how you're running the visualization now, but what's the next step as well?
There it goes here. KML generator, I believe is the. So I haven't yet modified this to be consistent though with Mario's update in the optimization model. So, so for the visualization app, what you guys did was created the Python that Python script that changes the .sol file into a CSV, and then changes the CSV into the KML. But what we're doing right now is bypassing the .sol stage, and Mario is just outputting the CSV file for the solution. So in that case, instead of the .sol, we will drag the CSV file into here for the solution. And then we drag and drop the CSV file for the origin coordinates, which you will have gotten probably from this app here. Will probably generate your origin coordinates, which will be the depots or biorefineries, for example. And then you drag and drop the CSV file for the destination coordinates, and then enter your job details. And then this basically is running your Python script. And then we'll just output the KML file to the location here that you specify. If you don't specify a location here, then here is the default location that it saves it to. So it'll be your username /archive/jobs, and then the string that has the date and then the job name and job ID. So that's how we're doing visualization within the portal.
And then you can just open your Google Earth, install on your local computer to visualize the KML. So now can you talk about JetStream, the next step?
Jetstream, okay. I think it's in, let me see if I can file up.
I need to share with Kevin, go to meeting session so that he can share his.
Or you can open up with my credentials from this computer and then
Okay, that's better.
What's the URL for it?
it's Jetstream.ca, I guess so, but you can search.
Is it JetStream Cloud?
Yeah.
Or?
So I will give you access to tags so that you can create now today. And you guys have homework, so we're gonna share this video and try to install and follow all the steps. So we're gonna meet again early next week. Just bring your specific challenges, questions, and we go from there. So hopefully next week now we could do the case study or read from the apps.
So all these applications are already installed in the computer.
The Agave apps are installed here. It's not yet installed on the server, which is where we're trying to get them installed. Once we do that, then we can just bypass all the setup because all the setup will be done already, and then you can just use the apps.
That's if you want to use just the current apps. We need to know these from the developer's steps. So that if we want to add another app or change the code, then we'll need to do all these.
Yeah. So far, what we have been doing is that we have been installing the Google Earth on our desktop, and then we have been uploading or importing the KLM file, KML file, and then we are like seeing the visualization. But Jetstream offers you a virtual computer wherein you can run your own applications that you want. I have a few images that I created for running running Google Earth on virtual machine that runs on this one. What is that? Jetstream account. Okay, either you can create a new virtual environment, or already existing ones can be used. Either you can start it from the scratch, but they don't offer Google Earth, so either you can go you got to go from the scratch. Maybe for this application Ubuntu is better, because that's how I felt it was good, because the Google Earth is easily installable on Ubuntu, on any other latest version of Ubuntu. So you go to launch, and then for Google Earth we might require a small or medium. Don't go for tiny, because 2 GB of RAM sometimes won't be enough for running Google Earth. And since we're importing KML file of lot size, say like what was the size that you once generated? Like it was like 200 MB or something.
I think so.
So it's going to take up a lot of memory to compute and then put it on the Google Earth map. So we might go for a smaller this one. it takes some time to create it. But I think okay, let this be created because I have one more version where I've already installed the Google Earth and other apps over there. This is the way you create a new instance under your login name. You can request Dr. Castillo to be added to the Jetstream account, and you have your own allocation, and you can create your own virtual environment to have with custom apps or any other visualization that you want. And these are the one that I have already installed, the first three, and these are the Google Earth inside it. I'm going to launch this one. So you have this option called Open Web Desktop. It's going to open in a new tab, and then you have Ubuntu directly over there. Okay, this is not the one. Let me go for the other one. Again, Open Web Desktop.
Guacamole, is that the name?
Okay, yeah, this is up and running. But it is kind of sketchy and slow because I installed it on a tiny one. See, it's like a 2 GB RAM. That's why it's pretty slow. But if you install it on a big 4 GB RAM, you wouldn't have a problem. And you have options here, like they say, like you can download or upload files to TAC1, and then you can import it over here.
To TAC?
No, for the Jetstream.
Okay.
And maybe I'll likewise I have I'll share a detailed video of installation, everything, and what are the specific ones, and then I'll put it on the Google the OneDrive.
Mm-hmm. So this bypasses the Google Earth installation on your local computer. So
Yeah,
basically
local
you can visualize these on Jetstream, which is located in Indiana, right?
It is located in Indiana and also TAC, but our Jetstream access is tied to TAC as well.
Okay.
Because since maybe they gave the TAC allocation because we are located in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe if someone
Proximity, yeah.
Someone subscribed for Jetstream, but they're not from not from Texas system, they are given access to an Indiana or Arizona servers.
Mm-hmm. So I'm debating if I should add everybody to Jetstream because in the next step we're not going to need everybody to have an account and do all these. So I would like to hear your opinion.
And that's what I've been trying to figure out, because right now the Jetstream there's no I don't see any option of sharing the apps that I have created. For example, the images that you see, Mario was not able to see under his login. It was these projects are just visible to me, and he was not able to access any of them. And how Jetstream works like that. Whenever to access the TAC resources, there should be some ID. I'm not sure about not sure whether we can have give them a public access or something.
So this will have implications for the web portal, right?
Sorry?
This will have implications for the
Yes,
web portal.
it
will
has.
be able to.
Yes, maybe we can create a common login ID for people who are working over here, and then we can give access through that and place some restriction on that public ID.
Well, what I'm thinking will happen is that the portal will have the primary credentials of whoever we're using for Jetstream, and then all you would need to do is in the future we will have an Agave app where you can drag your KML file and click run, and it will through the portal connect to this basically and show you this with the file there. So you won't. So when we actually do this in practice, I don't think we'll actually need to log in manually into Jetstream. I think the portal will handle all of that.
And but to use a Jetstream account, the person has to be on the allocation list.
For TAC or for both? TAC and Jetstream?
Though it is kind of tricky, though the Jetstream, our allocation of Jetstream is tied to TAC system. They're using TAC resources, but the credential verification is done by Jetstream, and the allocations are different from TAC allocations.
And I think this one will expire because it was the testing
For a year.
allocation.
So
Yeah.
that to mitigate that, I've been working on Google Earth Engine so that we don't have this trouble of buying licenses or or creating a new login ID for other researchers who wants to use the virtualization. I'm still working on that one, but that should be done in a month or two. And I've requested for the developer account. They haven't given me the access yet for Google Earth Engine.
Good to know.
Then I'll have a documentation for this, how to create an app. But I have to contact the administrators for the Jetstream so that our pre-built images can be searched here and got like right now. If I type Google Earth, it wouldn't come because it was custom made for my ID and it is not open to public. If I tell them to make this one accessible for the public, like people who are using Jetstream can directly click within few clicks they can have it up and ready. They're ready in their login.
Okay, thank you.
So one thing I was thinking is I can create a more detailed tutorial on my own where I can actually walk through all the steps and actually show all the steps being run, and I can, for example, pause it when during a long installation or something like that. But,
Yeah, we need to generate a curated video for everybody, like for public access or to share with others. This was an internal one, so we're just going to use it as training purposes. But later on, yes, we need a nice video without delays or questions, just steps, and you can pause it and come back, and that's the demonstration that remember the INL researcher and the professor from Clemson were asking for. So that would be a good video for them, the demonstration of the whole process, including installation and case study. Or we could have two videos. One is installation and then is how to use the apps.
Right.
All right, I guess we can pause the video right now. Anything else? Questions? You will have to figure it out. We'll figure the questions out.
Yeah, surely. It took me around 3 or 4 months because Mario was very patient enough to